trading one system, one ticker, S&P 500 futures every single day for a full year. I'm going to journal each session to track the progress, reflect, and improve my execution. So today was a pretty interesting day. I made about negative $24. Didn't make money today because I took an overnight position, big contract based on the X7 sell signal, and we didn't sell off until later part. We actually grinded up all night long through Euro Open, and I ended up losing $400 because of that. So once market open, I knew that I could only lose up to $500 to $600 each before I step away and stop trading for the day. So my first trade was really crucial. I had to make sure I had a good confirmation, good setup, and I took that trade and it made money. And then from there, it was somewhat easy sailing. And then I just kind of took a bunch of trades after that and ended up having a pretty good win rate today. But let's go over the trade journal and the signals today, and I'll tell you what I could do, what I would do if I could go back in time. So these are the signals that happened today. 8 a.m. over here, we had well, let me make this chart bigger actually. So 8 a.m. over here, we had a sell signal, X7 sell signal, which means pretty significant sell signal, which means we can expect the day to sell off pretty hard at some point or another. And then 9:30, we had an NQDD sell signal as well. So based on these two signals, I would feel like I have pretty good confirmation and setup already. So when I saw this 9:30 signal, that was a pretty big confirmation for me. I I watched the market grind down and then come back up to the MOB. I shorted the MOB there. We did run past it a little bit, but I wasn't too worried. I was like, hey, you know what? If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. So I shorted the MOB. I actually shorted the orange line too to start a big position, and I trusted the DD signal, and that signal worked out. We had a huge flush. We flushed down, took profit around this area, and then I was waiting for a back test because this was such a big candle. Waited for a little back test, ended up getting that short over there as well, and then took that next leg down. Made a bunch more money along the way. Just started trading really small contracts at that point, and then I decided to short any move back up to the moving average. So like over here, right? Shorted there, it worked out, and then made a bunch of money here. And then from there, at this point, I just kind of stalled a little bit because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if we were going to bottom or not. And so I just waited, didn't do much. And then eventually by 12:30, we had an NQ X3 buy signal and ES buy signal as well. So this buy signal was a little bit further up as we were moving upwards. So ideally, you just want to wait it to buy the support. So that orange line was support, and you also have these two moving averages crossing over it, doing golden crosses upside in the shorter time frame. And then by 12:42, we did have a little sell signal at 12:42, but those sell signals are essentially um, just a slight warning. So since we had an X3 buy signal, that was a bigger signal, so I took that. And then by 120, market structure have flipped bullish, which means if we saw any dips, we want to buy the dip, right? So if I could go back in time, I would have bought the dip at this orange line and at this red line, and I would probably have a stop loss somewhere below that, maybe like 60s. If we break the 60s, then we'll probably go down further. So those are two good entries there. And then as you can see, we eventually grind back up, start breaking higher a little bit. And then over here, 66.75 area was max gamma for the day. So if you've been watching the gamma bots, you would know that this is max gamma, and you probably want to sell or take profit there. That's where market maker was taking profit. Overall, it was a pretty good day. I think we did have a sell signal at 142, and that was also another opportunity that I would say, like, that's just saying that, hey, market's kind of top of here. You don't want to buy the dip, even though we're in bullish structure. You want to wait for better levels. So this was the better level there. So that played out pretty good today. As far as market wise, let's go over some longer term data. So market wise, we've been grinding up every night, overnight, and we've been seeing grind up day after day, right? I think this is one of the first few days where we did get a big drop, and we are seeing moving average divert to the downside a little bit. We haven't had any crazy bearish play yet, any crazy bearish signals yet, where like moving average is going under the MOB on the 5 minute time frame. So not super bearish unless that happens. And then we'll go over that's also a good time to go over the levels for tomorrow, right? So for tomorrow, we're looking at 66.60. As long as we stay above that, we're not super bearish. If we get below 66.45, that's when we'll flip super bearish. So these levels, we did moved up a little bit from last night. I didn't expect things to run as much, but it did. Things did run a lot. So then over here, bigger time frames, we are seeing a doji for the day. Even the 195-minute time frame, we are seeing some dojis and some reversals. So that always gives us a possibility of something like this happening or something like this, right? Anytime we see somewhat of a topping pattern, or it could also just be like this where we did go down, but we just end up gradually going back up. Tomorrow will be that deciding factor. Um, Based on how FOMC are and what they say and whatnot, that will realistically give us the movement for the day. If they said like, oh, we're gonna cut 50 basis points, we'll probably crash because that will be a sign of recession. If they said that they're only gonna cut 25 basis points, which is what we're mostly expecting, we think there's a high chance of that, then it depends on what they say after that. If they confirm that they're gonna do three more rate cuts and they sound like they want to do more rate cuts, then we'll probably go down. But if they start saying BS like, "Oh, we're not sure. We might not do any more rate cuts this year," then market will probably be okay. So I think those are some factors we'll be looking at tomorrow, and it'll be interesting for that. Um, so if you found this helpful and useful, please give us a thumbs up, follow, and let us know if you have any questions or anything else. Thank you, and have a great day.